Hey everybody, Smart Silver Stacker here. Hope you're doing well. So silver has once again put in a new 14-year high price today. So we're going to do a technical update on silver. We'll talk about the current uptrend, which appears to be in force, and some very interesting volume data, which suggests a new floor has been put in for silver. So let's get to it. Buy your gold and silver at SD Bullion. Right now, new customers can get gold or silver at spot by visiting sdbullion.com/new. All right, so yesterday the silver market closed at $39.25 spot price. That was the highest price in 14 years. And today, as you can see, silver is trading at $39.27. And today it rose as high as $39.52. So a new intraday high for the past 14 years. You got to go back to 2011 to find a time when the silver price was trading as high as it currently is. And that was the year, of course, that silver hit $50 per ounce. Now let's break this down and zoom in to the 4-hour chart of silver, because this shows us the current ascent in a little bit better resolution. And you can see that silver has been trading in this channel for the past several sessions, dating back to last Wednesday. And it's been rising in this channel. Today, notably, it did touch the bottom of the channel once again. And I want to take a look at a post that I put on X regarding that drop. Now, this image is zoomed into the 5-minute resolution. And the thing I wanted to draw your attention to is the spike in volume on this chart as silver approaches the $39 level. And actually, we can even look at it here live. We'll go to the 1-minute chart to really highlight that move. And you can see that, let me zoom it out a little bit more. Yeah, here we go. Right as silver, the minute that silver touched $39 or got very close to it, and it touched the bottom trend line of this channel, we had this nice spike in buying pressure in silver, driving the price back up to where we currently are, near a record high close for the past 14 years. Right now, $39.28. So the bull run in silver appears to be alive and well. You can see it very nicely on this 1-hour chart, the fact that it's just bouncing around in this channel. Now, I do expect that we're going to see resistance as silver attempts to break through the $40 level. That's going to be an important psychological barrier, but once that breaks down, once we get through that barrier at $40, I suspect we will see a relatively rapid ascent to record all-time highs. Now, of course, that's just one forecast. That's just what I think is the highest probability event. It's certainly not financial advice, and it's certainly not guaranteed. But I want to draw your attention to another post that I put on X this morning. And by the way, you can follow me at Stack Smarter. I post on there a lot more frequently than I make videos. So if you like this kind of content, I highly suggest that you give me a follow over there on X, and also subscribe for my free e-newsletter. There's a link down in the description. Now, this is a long-term chart. It goes all the way back to the early 1970s. It covers the entire current fiat monetary era. Back in 71, that's when Nixon ended the dollar convertibility into gold. So that's when this era really began. There are only 2 occasions in the modern fiat era when the silver price rose above $30. $30 represented by this orange horizontal line here. The first time was in late 1979, and then the silver price accordingly shot up to $50 in a very short order. The second time was here just before the 2011 high of $50. And the third time was mid-2024. So this run up in silver has taken a bit longer than the previous 2 occasions, but it does appear that we are headed to, at a minimum, $50 spot price. And when you consider inflation and how much higher a $50 high back in 1980 really was in real terms, I mean, if you adjust for inflation, it's more than $200 an ounce. I suspect that the current bull market is not going to be finished until we see triple-digit silver. just my take on things. Leave me a comment down below to let me know what you think about that forecast, because we are now in the midst of the third major bull market in silver in the current monetary era. And the thing about history is that it doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. So we haven't seen this rapid ascent to $50. Instead, we've seen this sort of sideways trudging, even as gold has broken out to record all-time highs. Platinum has recently broken out to the highest price in over a decade. We're seeing all the other metals confirm that we are in still the midst of a major bull market. This one is taking a bit longer than the historical ones. However, the backdrop against which this is occurring, high inflation, massively expanded debt levels, unsustainable debt levels, if you ask me, suggests that this bull run is going to be even bigger than the previous two. So even though silver's up quite a bit year to date, even though it has hit the highest price in over 14 years, I believe we are still near the very beginning of this bull market. Now, let's take a look at this story from the Jerusalem Post. This was posted last week. It says silver lease rates surge to multi-year highs as market tightness builds. Now, a lease rate is basically the rate that a trader has to pay to borrow silver. And this article cites a chart from Bloomberg posted originally by Ottavio Costa, portfolio manager at Crescat Capital, which shows that silver lease rates have soared from close to zero all the way up to over 6%. Now, we saw this similar behavior earlier this year, and clearly this is abnormal. When you look at the rest of the chart, it's usually very low cost to borrow silver. And what soaring lease rates indicate is that there is not enough silver to go around for everyone who wants to borrow it, aka a shortage or short supply of it. And that is why the rate is going up. It's becoming more competitive because there's more borrowers for silver than there is silver to lease. And this is something that investors and stackers should certainly keep an eye on. To me, what this tells you is that in this kind of environment, it's fine if you want to trade silver. And again, this isn't financial advice or anything, but if you want to use ETFs or derivatives of silver, futures contracts, that's fine. But if you really want a safe haven, you've got to get the real thing. You've got to get physical, tangible bullion that you can hold in your hand, because if the lease rates are soaring, that makes me a lot less confident that all those paper derivatives out there that are backed up by significantly less physical silver than actually exists on those paper promises, those may become less reliable if this situation deteriorates further. There's another story that I saw some people mention in the comments. This Treasury Secretary Bessent calls for a review of the entire Federal Reserve. And I think maybe this stimulated some hope that the Fed and the central banking institution is finally going to come under some scrutiny. But I view this primarily as theater. I don't think that there's much chance that the Fed and the current administration disagree on much, except perhaps how quickly they would like to debase the dollar. I don't think this represents any genuine opposition to the system of central banking and the endless unsustainable debt that tends to create. I suspect, again, that it's more theater and it's just a distraction from the economic mess that we are currently in. But leave me a comment to let me know what you think about that as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay safe and happy stacking, and I will catch you next time. Smart Silver Stacker out.